welcome to another episode of Women of the South Bay, all about the South Bay lifestyle, leadership, and legacy. I'm your host, Cathy Alessandra.
And I'm your co-host, Bibi Goldstein.
And we are very excited to have with us today Heidi Butzine, who is co-owner of Social Workplace and also the president of the Lomita Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Heidi.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here and interviewing me. I'm honored to be considered one of the women of the South Bay, which is kind of funny because I am a woman here in the South Bay, born and raised. So thank you.
There you go, born and raised. You're one of the few born and raised.
And I haven't left. There's no reason to leave the South Bay.
Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, just kind of what you're doing, what you say that you're from the South Bay. What does that mean? Just tell us a little bit about who you are.
Sure. I was born in Long Beach, so I know that's not technically the South Bay, but I was there for the first 3 years of my life, so I don't remember that much about it. But then my father moved to Torrance, and we lived there for a while, and then we moved to Lomita, ultimately, where we're at right now. And finished off elementary school, went to Fleming Junior High School, and graduated from Narbonne High School, so go Gauchos. After going to work in the real world, after my first job at the mall, at Del Amo Mall.
Oh, right. Who didn't work at Del Amo Mall if you grew up here? Yeah.
You know, so much of my life, I think, is about work and my career and all that. So it's fun just to sit down and talk about other things. But, that was my first sales experience, and I don't want to do that again. So, anyways, just the South Bay has always been where I've lived. And after starting my real life as an adult, we moved to Redondo. We were there for about 20 years. And then we came back here to Lomita. We started a business here and bought a building and then ultimately moved back. So it's kind of nice just to have everything right here in the little neighborhood that I grew up in. My elementary school is literally just down the street.
A little full circle.
Yeah.
Full circle for you. So you mentioned that, this building that you own and you've created this co-work space. Tell us, what was the moment or the experience that was that, okay, we're going to open a co-working space?
It's funny. I think sometimes people think that there's like this aha moment and it just strikes you. I think things need to percolate a little bit. So when my sweetheart and partner, Eric, and I came and saw this opportunity, we actually sold our home in Redondo Beach that we were in for a while. It was beautiful. I think it was my dream home, but you can always dream. You don't just have one dream in life. And so thankfully, thanks to real estate, we were able to sell that and actually take the proceeds and invest in this building. And, for us, we're very type A, Virgo, logically thinking, what would be a good investment. And so we were able to take that and parlay it into buying this commercial building. Now, it was always built as office space. When some of you who have been here or you haven't been here yet, you'll see it looks like it could be a motel, apartments. It was built by a residential developer. So he built homes throughout the South Bay. And so it was always office space. So we walked through and went, this could make a great co-work concept. We were actually looking at places like Lake Elsinore that had a really cute downtown area that needed a little TLC and uplift. That would have been very difficult to run from the South Bay, but this opportunity presented itself. And so we were walking through, we went, wow, we can take that idea that we wanted to do a co-work concept in another town and just do it in the town where I grew up. And so it was really kind of a natural fit just walking through. And I think we kind of had the same thought at the same time without even speaking to each other. And then went home and put the plans together and made it happen. So
I love it.
Struck in the moment, just here it is.
Right back in where you all began, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk for a minute too, because as I mentioned in the introduction, you are the president of the Lomita Chamber of Commerce, founder of the Lomita Chamber of Commerce, I imagine. So tell me a little bit about that and how you serve the business owners of Lomita and the surrounding areas.
Yeah. So Eric and I knew that there had not been a Chamber of Commerce in Lomita for a good 4 or 5 years, maybe even longer than that. And obviously my background has been very much involved with the small business community and being active in the Redondo Chamber of Commerce. So that was kind of in my DNA and my experience and background. And so when we got here to start our business, there was no support for small business. And it was at a time where Lomita has seen a lot of development growth, the breweries popping up, the beautiful buildings that have been renovated downtown. The city has a strong commitment to revitalizing downtown and other areas. So the timing, I think, was just really right. And so We reached out to a few of our small business owners in the area, obviously sat down and spoke to the city and their leadership and said, this is what we want to do. Will you support it? We want to launch a Chamber of Commerce. And it happened organically that way. You start the conversation, talk about what your goals are, what your vision is, and hopefully people are motivated and inspired to support that. And that's what happened. So it was important to have that. I mean, I was thinking about today's chat we're having and what are the through lines, you know, and sometimes to me, it feels like it's not all sort of together. It kind of takes these different jogs and routes. But, you know, it's kind of funny. My first real job, as I said, was right over here in Torrance, and it was working for a nonprofit. And so it's just funny to see that come full circle, too, in addition to being here in my community again. So, yeah, I'm super happy. I love that. Small business has always been in my heart and my passion. So,
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, you're a huge leader in our community here with all the various things that you've done, everything from
Serial
the Mavericks-
entrepreneur much?
Serial, right. Yeah, absolutely. With the businesses you've owned, the events that you've hosted. So what would you say is the thing that you really, you know, the legacy that you really want to leave here in the South Bay, you know, as a leader that you are, what would that legacy be?
that's a big old question. You know, I think it's constantly evolving. I guess I just want to create enough of a platform for people to have opportunities and have the tools and resources and maybe the confidence and support and people, community to back it up. So really try to remove as many barriers as possible for them to start their own business. Or figure out that maybe their hobby shouldn't be a business. I've learned that one a lot too. It's not just shiny object syndrome. That happens a lot as entrepreneurs. But I think that's the legacy is obviously with the chamber has always been built to build myself out of it, you know? And I think most successful business people who want to build an enterprise or a company that grows and grows is you aren't in the mechanics of it every single day. And that's hard, especially if you're a solopreneur or a small business owner. But the chamber's always got that mission. You know, there's a board of directors that we're accountable to that I report to in my role. And so that has to continue to grow. And so it's always been designed to let's build a foundation, let's get it stable, and let's have the path and the framework for it to fly on its own. So that's my goal. Hopefully in the next few years, it's happening nicely, have to say. And in the next few years, it'll be at that point. So somebody else can step up and have the opportunity to lead as well. And I think I'm clearest on that with the chamber. Some of my other businesses, you know, it's interesting. It goes through phases and there's an evolution. And it's like, you know, I think I've evolved beyond this. So let's focus over here, you know.
Yeah. And, you know, as a leader here in this community and the South Bay community as a whole, I know that you sit on the South Bay Business Women's Association's board. You also have a digital marketing company. Aside from the co-working space and the chamber, you were president of NRBBA, correct? The North Redondo Beach Business Association. So you have done a lot in your lifetime. So who or what inspires you? What inspires you to do what you do?
I think it's the stories that I hear. You know, when I can see that somebody is growing through an experience that maybe I helped create or collaborated with them on. When I hear people will join the chamber, for example, focus on that for just a second. You know, we had a mixer just last night, and there's this small business owner, sells all of her stuff on Instagram. She creates these beautiful succulent arrangements. And she started off at the farmer's market, almost like a pop-up, and grew her brand that way. And then she said, well, I'm not really comfortable talking in public. I'm not comfortable with networking. Well, how do I network? And we finally made her feel comfortable. And she shows up to every event now. And she's out there and she's leaving her card behind and she's contributing gifts. I mean, she has embraced it fully. So that's what inspires and motivates me is when I see people doing that and seeing that we're making them comfortable enough to carry themselves forward. And it's not just about the business side. They're growing personally and professionally, and they're gaining confidence, and it's good for their soul. And there's other things that come from that, just as being a human being and having those opportunities to feel like you're thriving and doing something different.
It's so true. Mentorship does not only mean in business.
Absolutely.
Or in personal life. Being able to mentor somebody like that has got to be an amazing feeling.
Well, and certainly with one of our initiatives that the Chamber did this year, which was Lemonade Day, we inspired 37 plus young entrepreneurs.
It was amazing driving down Pacific Coast Highway.
We had 37 lemonade stands in the South Bay, predominantly right here in Lomita. And these kids and parents worked so hard.
Yeah.
And so that to me, I don't have kids. So I feel this, for some reason, this connection, maybe because I'm the oldest out of 3 and I had a lot of babysitting I did as a kid. So I know there's a lot of work involved.
Many of us can relate to that.
But just seeing the kids have that opportunity. I never really had too much exposure to that growing up myself. So I just love that. These kids are so creative and to give them that outlet and just the unbridled passion and I'm going to go for it and just really not knowing no, and so that inspires me too. It gives you that extra little push. And then being able to have our space here, especially during some of the challenging times with being at home all the time and Zooming and just having a space for people to get together professionally. I'm thankful that we have these great people here in our space who are doing amazing things and small business owners and teaching classes in Indonesia from right here in Lomita. So seeing them thrive and helping them with their business, I think I just like helping them, giving them the tools they need. So, yeah.
So let me ask you one other question on that, because nothing is always sunshine and roses, right? I mean, in life and business, right? We all have challenges. We all have things we face. We all have regrets, or, that thing where if we knew then we know now, right? So for you, what would that be?
I don't know if there's one thing, but I think as I get older, it's just kind of like, you need to chill out a little bit, It'll all get done. And it's, easier said than done. But I think every lesson is just so powerful. You have to go through it. You have to get out on the other side of it and be okay with the ugly bits. But I think that it would be almost like looking back and telling myself years ago, you need to just take it easy, allow more time and space for things to kind of percolate. And that's a challenge I still am faced with right now. And in many things, because you want to go and get it done. And so being present, being in the moment with all of these great things that you're part of, rather than, okay, tick the box, done, off to the next thing. Mm-hmm. And so I think that in everything, it's just allowing the space to take a beat and take it in and allow yourself a little bit of time before you jump onto the next thing. And leading a group of highly motivated overachievers, they have that same challenge too. So I think as somebody who, whatever we do with it, whatever leadership position we may have as a parent or in a professional setting or mentor, that you need to, I think it's important to allow yourself and the people that you're leading that space so that they can catch up with it as well, mm-hmm. and give more time to let ideas just fully present themselves rather than trying to make it happen.
That square peg in the round hole thing and really kind of pulling yourself back and saying, is this really something that I want to do? And asking some of those questions, right? As business owners, as women, we go through so much of that voice, right? What's that voice telling us? So when you're doing all of these things that you're doing and all of these different businesses, what's the thing that brings you joy? How do you find joy in your life?
Being able to sound so ridiculously simple. I mean, I love going out to the ranch, and that's a whole other story that we've got going on right now. Going out to the desert, getting away. I am an introvert, and I recharge and get my energy back by cocooning. Staying at home. I love my Saturdays when I can sit in my comfy chair in my office with perfect little light, cup of tea, whatever, cup of wine. Well, not a cup, a glass of wine, sorry. And being able to maybe read a book. I mean, this is the first time in a long time that I'm actually reading a book right now that's not like self-help or business related.
We can all relate to that.
It's a stupid book about Dave Grohl because I love the Foo Fighters. And, I'm never good. I mean, I do want to play the drums. It's on my bucket list. I have to learn because I just want to beat the heck out of them. It would just be so fun. I want to be one of those badass female drummers. And I've watched a couple of YouTube videos through the Guitar Center. Oh my gosh. I can see myself. I'm probably going to suck at it, but I don't care. I've got to try it. But I love food parties. So I'm never going to go into a mosh pit. Those days are gone. I have done it, but but it's just great to have that escape and to hear what he's going through, and just so many great stories that are inspiring that aren't necessarily like a deliverable or an outcome. So sitting in my comfy chair, reading a book, listening to jazz or something. I mean, and I know I don't have to go anywhere that day. That brings me joy. Certainly, you know, I have to say, I love working with my sweetheart. It's not all sunny and roses all the time, Cathy. You're right. But it's been 28 years and we've pretty much worked together for most of those years and it just works. And so being able to spend time with him doing something new and exciting, that brings me joy too. And, but really, I think just kind of the quiet, peaceful times and trying to make more time in my life and making more space for reconnecting with people, especially now, it's so important.
Right.
You
right
know,
now that we're
so
all back out.
Being
after
able to
the
get
last-
together for a hug party that I know Bibi's organizing tomorrow, I will be there hugging. And, you know, also, I think the challenge with that is like, if I have my Saturdays, I really work hard to preserve and protect them. But I also made an exception to that because somebody personally called me and said, I want you at our, you know, our fundraising event this Saturday. And I said, okay, sometimes you just need to do that and give
Sometimes
that
we
up.
do.
You know, it's important to support others. So, yeah, it seems a little shallow, but that's what I need. And that's what brings
You know,
joy.
Joy is in the eye of the beholder, right?
Indeed,
And
indeed.
it's everybody. And I love this story about Dave Grohl, because I think that it's really important because when you find good humans in the world, regardless of gender, regardless of what their profession is, and he's a good human. He really is. And there's some great stories right now about, I don't know if you saw the one about the little girl that he brought up on stage in the forum.
The drummer.
The drummer.
Yes, that's my girl.
Amazing story. So those kinds of things that can bring you some joy and uplifting, it's like one of those videos that you have to watch over and over again. It's amazing. It's amazing. So I love that you're reading his book right now.
It's inspiring. I mean, he's, like you said, he's a good human. And my gosh, he broke his freaking foot. It was mush. And he went up there and finished the show because he felt so bad. I mean, it just, when you hear those things, you go, okay, wow, this is truly who he is in his core. And he is committed to the people who love and follow him. So, yeah, inspiring.
Okay. Well, we've certainly enjoyed our time with you today. If somebody wants to connect with you further, where would they do that?
Well, it depends on what hat you're wearing. Certainly, I think first and foremost, if anybody needs a space to work, whether you're here in the South Bay or you're traveling or passing through, I mean, that's why we're here. So socialworkplace.com, little branding here from our marketing hats, you know.
And it's just water.
Socialworkplace.com, people can pop in for the day or use the conference room for however much time they need it. And just get some work done. So drink our coffee, use our Wi-Fi, eat our snacks, and it's very flexible in that regard. And then the other piece I really think is you know, the Chamber of Commerce. I mean, that's obviously when we're regionalized here in the South Bay, but we welcome people who have businesses from all over the South Bay. You don't have to live or work in Lomita or have a business base here necessarily to join our chamber. And you know, I think one of our differentiators between other chambers of commerce is the fact we do a lot of networking and gathering safely, and that seems to be our it factor, you know. And as far as the marketing, we're still doing that. We're not taking on a lot of new clients at the moment, but we still love doing that. I mean, if I can translate somebody's message and help it get out to their audience, then that brings me joy too. So
That's great. So as we're talking about the South Bay, tell us in conclusion, what is your favorite thing about the South Bay?
the people.
The
people. I mean, the weather's nice. Weather's nice, but it's the people. I mean, it's so
The
great.
weather is a cover-up.
The weather's horrible, but people are great. No, it really is the people, and just you have people who will rally, a community that will rally behind you, no matter what, about anything. I mean, asking for help. I don't like to ask people for donations and things like that. And man, I posted on Facebook, and everybody that I know from the South Bay they're like that, you know. So it's the people and being able to bump into people and the tiny circle that we're in it's just amazing to be able to go anywhere and say, there's somebody you're connected to in that room at all times.
Yeah.
So
Very true.
that's great.
Well, Heidi, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you, Cathy.
We really appreciate you taking the time. We appreciate all of you joining us for this episode of Women of the South Bay, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Until then, have a great day.